months, operationally, technically, and emotionally. I'll start with you, David, really quickly. What are the big operational and emotional challenges that you see amongst your members right now that you haven't touched on yet? And you may have touched on all of them, but if there's anything else you'd like to add, this would be a great time.
Well, I think we have covered a lot of these things already, and it's just, if there's a 20% reduction in the gas tax collections next year from July till June of 2021, that affects the projects that are on the books in 2022. So, while the charts go like this and then hopefully they come back up, this part isn't until 2023 or 24 out here. And again, the supply chains, it's not just getting cleansers and sanitizers, it's getting steel and it's getting drywall. And equipment, honestly, too. I mean, if factories have been shut down for 2 months and then they've got to reassemble and work on ventilators, now we can come back later and start building equipment. But meanwhile, there's the whole ramifications of not getting the equipment that you need. The employees, we talked about that there's going to be a lot of people that are quite happy to get $600 a week and not work on top of their unemployment.
David, that point on national, state, and local, I know the association has a lobbying, side of it. And yeah, you guys have been critical infrastructure. You've been working through, this entire COVID situation, and the health numbers are pretty good. What impact does that have from a lobbying standpoint? What's going on with the state conversations?
Well, I mean, the fuel tax is a user fund. It's segregated, so it won't be affected by the income tax that probably will be declined over a short period of time. So we'll have to watch that. From a national perspective, we're going to be watching the PPP guidelines. A lot of contractors did apply and get the paycheck guarantees, PPP. So we're flying the plane and building it as we go. And so there's a lot of uncertainty and there's a lot of anxiety over some of these big things at the federal level. So AGC of America is a great organization with a very deep team of people that are studying a lot of these things. So stay tuned to the stuff that you see coming across your computer from them.
And are you getting engaged at the state, and local levels, government of, just like you have in the past with safety records and other areas, are you getting engaged around, how is the health and safety, during COVID, of the workforce in the construction industry and contracting industry?
Well, I've been really emphasizing to all the contractors, kind of like what John mentioned, make sure that your hand washing stations are very visible from the street, especially as a county sanitarian drives by. We don't need reasons. Unfortunately, there was a letter to the editor in the Chronicle today, the Bozeman Chronicle, somebody kind of griping about contractors not wearing masks and sitting too close to each other while they're eating lunch. And so we have to realize we're kind of in a glass house, and we have to hold ourselves to higher standards. And it's not easy for a lot of these guys. That's just not their persona. Their persona is put their head down and work hard. But we got to take a step back on that. So again, the market, employees, I think some of these other things we've talked about a little bit, but there'll be some slowdown coming, but I think it'll help. Hopefully it'll just be a correction in Montana.
John, you had touched on, just some of the emotional aspects, within employees and the different, viewpoints, that might exist there. Can you talk through how you've been managing that?
Yeah, and I think early on, people had, they were scared. They didn't know, there was information everywhere about what this meant. And so trying to get the employees kind of on the same page of what, based on everything we know as a corporation, what stance are we going to take? So, and I think that was very important. And I think it's going to be very important for companies moving forward, is to articulate their culture of what this means to them. Because some businesses are going to be just, it's over, let's cruise, everybody's good. Other businesses are going to take a more, careful approach. And I think it's going to be important that you articulate to the employees what you're going to do as a company. And I think keep a constant communication to those employees, because things are going to change on a daily basis. So
Right.
you can keep your employees on the same page. And I think it's going to be, as the economy starts opening up, I think as we go into this November election and it becomes even more politicized, I think it's going to be a real challenge for corporations and companies to keep their employee group working together through this. And that's probably one of my bigger concerns as we open up and as people have different views, and we're just going to get bombarded on social media and media about what both sides of the political aisle believe on this.
Would it be fair to summarize that from the top down in organizations, communicating who we are and how we behave is super critical right now?
Absolutely.
And I think that's been a strength of the construction industry too. I mean, if the owner's name is on the side of the truck, he cares about how that truck looks. He cares about how those guys look and what the office is like. That's his name on the side there, or her name, and they care. So culture is a very important thing. And John's right. It'll be really critical. And the ones that are going to come out of this in good shape are the ones who have that good culture and the ones that take good care of their people and are there for them and giving them benefits too.